John, they're saying the recession's even more likely than ever.
Not the majority of them aren't saying that. Come on, don't make things up, okay? Now you sound like a Republican politician. I'm joking. That was a joke.
President Biden scolding a reporter gently for asking about a possible recession, a question on most of Americans' minds as they struggle more and more to afford the basics. Fox News contributor Joe Concha is with us now. As Connell McShane explained to us yesterday, when you're talking about recession, you're looking backwards, right? So we had 1 quarter of negative growth. We could be in another quarter of negative growth right now. Many CEOs who've been surveyed say that they think that that could actually be. But Joe Biden is saying, well, it's not inevitable. Seems like well, if you're going to say that, then tell us what you're doing to prevent it.
Yeah, Dana, he said to the reporter, don't make things up, right? That most economists aren't saying this. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, nearly 70% of the economists they surveyed believe that we are headed towards a recession, because as you said, we're already experienced negative growth last quarter. Then you think of some of the comments that the president has made recently. He said that, quote, we have the fastest growing economy in the world. Again, we grew negatively last quarter, right? And also, he said that inflation is a global problem, that everybody's feeling the same pain. And we talked about this a little bit last week, but I dove into the numbers more. There are 94 countries that have a lower inflation rate than we do. So no, we're not on the same plane. And most importantly, China is only at 2% inflation, 4 times less than we are. And they're our biggest economic rival. So if you would think if we were experiencing high inflation, they would, but perhaps they have their spending under control while we don't.
You know, they use the word, it's not inevitable, that phrase. If I was in the administration, I'd use the same thing until you can prove it to me that we're indeed there. Steve Moore made the case last week that we're already in a recession. Some people agree with him, some do not. However, John Harwood, CNN, had a big commentary on this yesterday.
Okay.
No, Sunday this was.
What's false is that he is not capable of doing the job right now, or he's not mentally in tune with the demands of the job. Anybody, any aide who engages with him, or reporters, we can see this. The gears of his mind are working. That's an issue pushed by right-wing media, but it's not correct.
Some of that was in response to the bicycle fall from Saturday, but that whole phrase about the gears of his mind are working.
Interesting. John
So are
Harwood,
yours.
that's the guy who asked the Clinton campaign chief in 2016, what should I ask Jeb Bush? Because real reporters go to rival candidacies to see what questions they should ask, so I don't think we should take this guy too seriously. Here's the perception on the ground from voters of the president in terms of whether he's too old for this job. CBS News poll, I should say. 2/3 of voters feel that the president is too slow to react to crises. YouGov poll, 21% of those responding say they want President Biden to run again in 2024. Think about that. 1 in 5 voters, for the guy who got the most votes in American history, now say we want to see a second act. So time and time again, we just see that voters think that, okay, Mr. Biden, we don't think you should run in 2024. And that includes, Dana, a lot of Democrats.
Yeah, a lot of Democrats. And you know, like David Axelrod saying that in a second term, he would be too old. Byron York asked yesterday, though, if they think he's going to be too old in 2 years, what does it mean for, like, right now? Anyway.
Right, that's a very good point.
To be continued. It was great to see you.
Great to see you as well, guys.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.